Hey, I'm Captain of the Castle and I'm in a shop. Like the spotlight look? New light comes in tomorrow. I have a piece put into the chuck right now and I'm going to turn it. I want to talk to you about that and a whole lot more. But you know the deal. You gotta watch. Okay, here's the deal. I have a piece. I'm going to hold it in my profile jaws and I glued it to a waste block that I made, a piece of 2x4, yeah, I'm cheap, with a little epoxy glue. Did this a couple of days ago and it's been curing. I have it on a waste block, have the block in there, and I want to turn it. And I want to make it something fairly small. Now, I'm making something fairly small. So let's talk about that. Do you see this on the chuck? See these points sticking out as it goes, sort of like a saw? Well, that's because it's set in the outermost limits of the jaws. There's a protection scheme in some manufacturers. Now this is a one-way chuck. I've got a handful of them. We can see it. Now this is probably my favorite chuck of all. Number one, it's so heavy and durable, it's unbelievable. Number two, it's machine standards that you won't believe. And number three, it'll last through just about anything. Easy to clean too. If you need to clean it out, that's what you gotta clean, right there. It's right there. You brush it out, air it out, and whatever, but don't spray that yellow and blue can in here. Don't do that. I like that Boeing T9 so much better. It doesn't collect any dirt and it works for a long time. This was out in a flood when a shop flooded and it was 4 months before I put the wrench in it for the first time. It worked like it was new. But I digress. Let's go back over to talking about those chucks sticking out. This one, the chuck is, the jaws are behind the face of the chuck. Now I can determine whether I want them to be behind it or if I want them to go to the outermost reach. There's a safety in here. Now I'm going to tell you, don't bypass the safety. And we're going to get into some turning in a minute. This is a jaw that goes in. Well, let me go right here with it. Do you see that pin? That pin sticking out right there? Yeah, that pin is the safety. Do you see these grooves? There's one over here that's about 1 inch long, and there's one over here that's about 3/4 of an inch long. What is the difference? Well, when I put this jaw in and put it over the long one, it will slide way out there. See if you can see it. See how far out it's slid? All right, that's where it can slide to, legally. If I go to the other side with the smaller one and I put it in that one and I slide it out, it won't go past the face of the jaws. Won't go past it. Now, why do I bring this up? It's a safety thing. I'm going to turn a couple of different things, and I'm using these Paralam blocks. Now, I'm probably going to show it to you in a couple of different programs. Today I'm going to start off by doing a simple light pull. Now, I want to show you light pull done 2 ways. I'm going to do it on a waste block, maybe 3 ways, and I glued it on it. And I get these blocks from Ruth Niles at Ruth Niles Stainless Steel Bottle Stoppers. Great lady, does some great work and everything, and I'm in the middle of production here. It's a demonstration. I mean, okay, what do you have? This is just in from Wood Turning Central. You're not going to believe this. Ruth Niles has sold her stainless steel bottle stopper business, and it's no longer in business. Now, boy, that's a loss. All right. Oh, wow. Even worse, she sold it to Carl Jacobson. That's bad enough. You got a hard time keeping him awake. But now he's in charge of selling bottle stoppers for Ruth. Well, not for Ruth. It's now he's selling them for Robin, another woman owning a business. Isn't that something? Ruth retired and Carl stepped up. Nice move from Wood Turning Central. All right. I get these Paraland blocks from Ruth, or used to. Oh, I missed that. And they come in a myriad of colors and all, but they're about 2 inches long and maybe an inch and a half, and they came in square. I don't like turning square materials, so I took it over to the bandsaw and knocked the corners off. I made it more of an octagon than a square. And that way, I'm not getting the boom, 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 boom. When I start roughing it again, I get a which is a better sound effect, right? Okay, but that's what I have up here right now. I'm going to turn this using a glue block. It's going to be a simple light pull. Now I'm going to knock the dirt off of it first, round it out. Then we're going to drill it, and I'll show you why we do that and how we do it. And then we're going to turn it. And it's a fun little project, but there are a couple other ways to go about it. Stand by. Well, watch. I have to suit up before we turn on the lathe. You know, I can clean my shield just like this. That's all it takes. Do you know why? No, you don't know. I treat it with son of a gun. STP makes a product for putting on plastic in your car. It's called Son of a Gun. It's available at Amazon. But it coats the plastic, and I mean, I've got tape stuck on here, poop, it's gone. I got paint on here, poop, it's gone. Makes it much better and doesn't fog up. And I really believe in these shields. Now, we're gonna put this thing round. I sharpened up all my tools 2 days ago because finally I got my grinder set up. Got a couple of more little tweaks to work on. Because I'm a nut about stepping back to the grinder. Here is a deal for you, or the deal. If you're turning anything, everything, whatever, and you're about ready to make that last pass, it's time to go to the grinder before the last pass. And if you hear a click or get a little bit of burnish, go to the grinder and touch it up. You see, you can always touch it up, but bleeding's a whole nother story. I'm going to crank this up, get my hat out of the way. I'm going to go about half speed, 1600 RPMs maybe. Start spinning. See how nice it is? I have to suit up before we turn on the lathe. You know, I can clean my shield just like this. That's all it takes. Do you know why? No, you don't know. I treat it with son of a gun. STP makes a product for putting on plastic in your car. It's called Son of a Gun. It's available at Amazon. But it coats the plastic, and I mean, I've got tape stuck on here, poop, it's gone. I got paint on here, poop, it's gone. Makes it much better and doesn't fog up. And I really believe in these shields. Now, we're gonna put this thing round. I sharpened up all my tools 2 days ago because finally I got my grinder set up. Got a couple of more little tweaks to work on. Because I'm a nut about stepping back to the grinder. Here is a deal for you, or the deal. If you're turning anything, everything, whatever. And you're about ready to make that last pass. It's time to go to the grinder before the last pass. And if you hear a click or get a little bit of burnish, go to the grinder and touch it up. You see, you can always touch it up, but bleeding's a whole nother story. I'm gonna crank this up, get my hat out of the way. I'm gonna go about half speed, 1600 RPMs maybe. Start spinning. See how nice it is? That's with what they call a roughing gouge. I just don't like the name roughing gouge because this is slick as slick can be. I rode the bevel, did slicing cuts with a roughing gouge and got a really nice cut. I'm ready to start. I'm going to drill a couple of holes. Okay, thank you. We'll get back in touch. Alrighty. Appreciate the call. Seems like it's take 19. That was Betty. She calls me every day to see if I want to change my health insurance coverage. Every day, call me. And I just feel bad about not talking to her. All right, now, to put the bead through, we're using a bead chain. That's it. And I wanted to go through a hole and stop where the coupler is. So you have a coupler right there. And that puts the chains together, but it also ends the chain. So I want the bead to go through, but I don't want the coupler to go through. So we're gonna take a look at it. This is a 5/32 hole. Yeah, because the next 100 just won't fit. But I go through a 5/32 hole, and the coupler stops. Yep, and it's important. If you over drill it, you just fall apart, you gotta glue it. Okay, you get the drill bit up. 5/32. Before we go down the road, what I did just now is put a little cup. I took my fingernail gouge, put a little cup in there. Why? Well, that's not going to be flat when I get done. It's where it goes in. It's on the bottom. You need to allow for it. You need to drill that 5/32 hole. I did that using my chuck as a hand drive. Now, someplace in the move, I've got my own shop-built hand drive, but it's not here right now. Why didn't I just put it in the tailstock and push on it? Because when I'm doing this on the tailstock, I really don't understand the amount of force I'd be putting on something. It's a screw chuck, a lot of force. Well, that'll make the bit go off center. I don't want that to happen. I can feel it with my hand chuck. We have the first hole drilled. Time for the second hole. I'm going to go to probably a 15/64. I'll go a 1/2 inch, that's plenty. What's going to let me do is the chain will go in, the coupling will stay proud, and then I have the pull started. Start it. In a moment, I'm going to bring up the tailstock to give me a little stability so I can make those cuts. This is a quick, easy project. where I'd screw up at is not doing the sanding in the order that I needed to do, because I don't get to come back to this. I'm gonna get so thin this will move. So now, this is only important where the tailstock will be in the way. And I do know as a real man turner, you get around it. Right? Right. As I said a moment ago, I'm going to bring up the tailstock and push just a little bit of pressure on it. This is what I call stabilizing. Now I won't get a lot of vibration in it. We're going to do some cutting. Now I knocked down the meat and potatoes of it, got it pretty close where I want. It's a beautiful little piece. Now, I sanded that point on that cup on the end. Now I want to sand out the rest of this before I take it off. It's a fine little detail. I turn my speed way down when I'm doing this. I've taken it all the way through 400. Let me mention to you, I sanded this cup a little while ago. Really, it was an automatic thing for me to sand it, and then I rounded this off using the Ellsworth or the whatever I wanted, and I came around. Because I already sanded this, I won't take that sharp corner off. That's still going to be there. Now, if I sanded it with the point not there, I'm going to round that corner a little bit. I'm going to go with the Dakota CA. Got to put my protection on first. I love it. One of the members of the club, Worldwide Woodturner, sent me a note and he says, tear tape. He said instead of using a nitro glove, which they're out there, I can't find them, a little bit of painter's tape on it works. So that's what I'm going to do. A little painter's tape and a little CA. Again, if you haven't been with me for a while, my favorite CA is Starbond Super Thin, or Starbond Thin. Is it called Super Thin or Thin? Super Fast Thin, okay? Got the name right. I use a little piece of blue paper towel, never a rag, all right? When I crank it up, we're down pretty low on speed. Take it down a notch more. Blue paper towel. Just a drop or so. I'm going to take it all the way around, make sure it's all coated. Now, surprisingly, for what it's used for, that might be adequate finish. Might. But I'm kind of anal about this. I'm going to go ahead and put another coat or two on it. Now, I've done several coats on it, and it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I like the color. It's not too bright and flashy. I'm probably going to scuff it off with a little bit of Scotch-Brite type material. I won't be needing my protection on right now. Did it fine? That was it. It was done. Don't have to go buy a box of nitrate gloves or anything. I have it in this position, and next step, I'm going to go ahead and part it off, and then treat the cap. Easy, easy. When we started today, I was telling you that there's some safety dealing with the chuck. Now, my jaws are sticking out a little bit. I want to peel this off, cut it off. Now, I would normally reach around like this and hold it, right? But I'm a more seasoned turner. I know those chucks are sticking out. If you don't understand it, you lose some meat there. So I'm going to go here and do my little cut, and I'm going to put my arm underneath. I hear it coming. There. That's it. Now, that is a safe move. Forgot to put my shield down. Okay, write me a note on that. But I didn't get cut on a chuck. That's important. Don't get cut. No bleeding, no company count. Well, there you have it. Ran the bead through it. The bead comes up to the coupler. Now, I don't need the chain on the bottom. It's here to show you. But that's how it fits over the coupler. And the coupler is hidden in the bottom. And that is making a real simple light pole. I need to polish it up a little bit because I've just handled it too soon. But that's a simple project. I did this to show you part handling and drilling, etc. Just some tips and hints. If you want to get into this, do so, but make sure you're safe while you're out in the shop making shavings. That's the important part. Stay safe. It's not a sprint. Slow down a little bit. I do like this. Hey, this is Captain Eddie. I'm in the shop editing one of the videos. Just forgot to tell you that Big Eye Productions, under the name of EddieCastellan.com, sells cutters, bars, templates, things like that. So if you're looking for them, we're still here. We're still doing business. Just give us a call. We can be reached at this number right here, 504-715-0512, or go to our website. Yep, right there. It's real creative, EddieCastellan.com. I'm back to work. You take care and be safe.